pleasant day to each and everyone, especially to you on the other side of the screen. I am Precious JANNELLE, a grade 11 STEM student of the University of Science and Technology of Southern Philippines, CDO. This video is about my performance innovative task on the subject of media and information literacy, which is also informational to us, to everyone, because I will be talking about fake news. Now, fake news is really common, especially in our modern and digital world. I'm sure every one of us have heard of fake news, right? Well, did you know that not everything false is fake news? Some information or posts we see online are shared by mistake, some are shared to deceive, and some uses real information to harm. Now, these types of information, or also known as fake news, is also similar to the term of information disorder. Information disorder and fake news is the same, but fake news is the most common one that we see and hear, right? But what is information disorder? Information disorder is false or misleading information that spreads online or through media. And information disorder also is categorized into three types. We have here misinformation, disinformation, and malinformation. So these three types are what we are going to talk about today. And from my objectives, we will differentiate, or we will talk about the different types of fake news. And I will also provide real-life examples of each type. And it is for us to become more critical and responsible citizen. Another objective is for us to learn how to identify fake or misleading information online. And lastly is for us to promote awareness and fact-checking before sharing information. Now, when we see posts online, do we directly believe it, or do we first fact check it, or see or search if that information is true or not? So in this lesson, or in this topic, we will also learn and know what fact checking is and how to fact check. So, what is fact check or fact checking? Fact checking is verifying whether an information is true, accurate, and supported by reliable sources. So, we do fact checking if we see informations online that are verifiable. So, there are also posts that don't need to be verified, like a post or a selfie post on your stories, or a family photo together. So there are also posts online that really needs to be verified, which are informations that are shared that seems too real or too good to be true, or an information that really needs a deeper research. So another, for fact checking, we can use techniques by first checking with trusted news sites. So in the Philippines, we have here our top 3 news sites that we can search on the web, which is first, the verifiles.org. They check and verify informations for you and for us. And another is Rappler, that we can search on the web through rappler.com. Same for Verifiles, they also check posts and information if they are true or not. Another is PNA, or Philippines News Agency, or we can search through it through pna.gov.ph. So these three are the main websites that we can use, or we can search for real and true informations. Okay, so we also have mainstream media, which has true or real information, which are GMA Integrated News and ABS-CBN News, also TV5 News. So we have multiple mainstream medias, but for us to use our critical thinking and analytical techniques, we can use or search through these websites for us to see if the news we are getting is actually true or not. So another technique is using the Google search, simply through searching if that information is actually true or not. So we can use the technique of using quotation marks if we search for a quotation said by a post that we see, if it is actually true or not. So another, through Google, we can also use the image search, which is on the right side of our search bar in Google, which where we can drag images or we can upload file through it if we need to verify an image if it is real or not. Another is the most important thing, comparing multiple credible sources. So with comparing different sources, we can come up to a conclusion if that one post or information that we see is actually, again, real or not, because having multiple sources makes our verification on a certain post reliable. So let us now talk about the different types of information disorder. So let us first talk about misinformation. Now, misinformation is false or inaccurate information that is shared without the intent to cause harm. So in simple words, the misinformation is false information that has no intention to cause harm. So I have here an example of a misinformation. Well, there are different types of misinformation, which I will talk about. First, let's look at this photo. This is a photo that I've seen on Facebook, and this post talks about, or this post has an image that says from DTI that 50 pesos na allowance sa mga college students kasya na for 1 week. So from that post, I think we can really think more if that post is really true or not, because a DTI employee won't actually say that, right? Well, for us to verify, let us first look thoroughly on the post. So from the post, there is a disclaimer that says this post is satire. it's made for humor. And commentary, not to mislead or spread false information. Now, what is a satire? Satire is the use of humor, irony, exaggeration, or ridicule. So this post does not actually intend to mislead or spread false information, but is mainly posted for humor or for fun. So this actual post has the DTI member, which is also fact-checked by Rappler, and from that, it is actually a video of them price monitoring for the 2025 Christmas season. So she also stated there that they've already monitored their prices and stated that it is the same as last year for 2024. So this video was actually a post on 2025. So there we go. We can now conclude that this information is false. Another false news that I've seen is this one. It is said that Kitty Duterte na ban sa ICC. Hindi na pwedeng dumalaw sa ama dahil pumunta sa ICC ng lasing at nagwala nang hindi payagan pumasok sa loob. So, this post is actually a fabricated content. Now, fabricate means invent or invent in order to deceive. So this post is actually verified by Verifiles, which I've searched using Google search, and they fact-checked it that this post is just a fabricated content, and the photo that they have used is actually when Kitty or Veronica Duterte and her mother visited ICC, visited their father Rodrigo Roa Duterte for his 80th birthday. So with this such post, Verifiles also stated that as said by the ICC that visitors can be banned by inappropriate conduct. But the ICC also says that through this, we can conclude that this post is actually false. So, for our next example, have you heard about clickbait? Clickbait is also false connection, but clickbait is actually meant to attract attention and for us to click on a link. Now, clickbait is really common, especially in misinformation. We see it through online and through different platforms. I have here an example. Critical dahil sa droga. Confirmed dinala sa hospital. This YouTube video has thousands of views and comments. Has thousands of views. So from this main thumbnail, we can really see that many people have clicked on it, of course. So this video, I've searched if this is actually true or not. So using the search bar of Google, using their Google search, we can now see that this was fact-checked by Rappler, saying that no reports of Marcos in critical condition at the hospital because a lot of accusations, and there are many news or false information that has spread about our president, Bongbong Marcos, saying that he was sick. But recently there is a news saying that Bongbong Marcos mismo have said that he can do jumping jacks and he can do the army dozen, and says that he is healthy. So he did this to prove to those informations or news that was spread online that he was actually healthy. So with this thumbnail saying that dinala si Bongbong Marcos sa hospital, actually the most latest news about BBM going to the hospital or in the hospital was on January 22, 2026, where they've confirmed that Bongbong Marcos was in hospital due to diverticulitis. So, diverticulitis is a painful condition that occurs when small bulging patches in the lining of the colon becomes inflamed or infected. So, with that, it is fact-checked that Bongbong Marcos was really not in a critical situation due to drugs. So it is from that video also, the vlogger talked about how Amy Marcos have said that BBM was in and out of the hospital, but that caused misinformation to the citizens and caused fake news. And through that, we can now conclude that this is actually a false information. Now, a misinformation can also be disinformation when it is shared to manipulate or to deceive. From the definition of disinformation, it is false information that is created to shared to deceive people or manipulate opinions. So, back again with this one, if the video really misleads citizens or people who watched it, especially that from the thumbnail itself speaks about a false information. So let's go on through this information. I have here an example which is shared through Facebook. Once again, I've seen that this post talked about recibo or receipt that BBM paid in the ICC to detain Duterte. Well, these posts are actually fabricated content or edited content. So, to verify this, we can use the technique of reverse image search in Google. So, I did this, and the first website that came was from Verifiles. They fact-checked this, saying that the receipt is actually fake because Marcos did not pay ICC to detain Duterte. Because from this receipt, when we closely look at it, there is a customer name, Rodrigo Digong Roa Duterte, but from the receipt there is no name of Marcos, Bongbong Marcos Jr. or related to BBM. And another red flag of this, as said by Verifiles, is the time, because it is said that the receipt was issued on May 24, 2025, 6:42 p.m. CET. But in the Netherlands is actually Central European summertime. So there, from that, we can really conclude that this receipt is fake. And another from ICC, they've confirmed that all charges against Rodrigo Roa Duterte and have commit So with that, having fact-checked by our Verifiles website, we can conclude that this post is actually false and is a fabricated content. Another disinformation we have here is a post saying that Risa Hontiveros nagputol ng damo dahil sa sobrang pagmamahal ng Pilipinas. So, with this, when we closely look at it, we can actually think, or we can use our analytical thinking, critical thinking, that this post seems kind of fishy. So, this is actually an example of a manipulated content. So, to verify this, let us once again use our reverse search, and when we closely look at the result, there is another similar process but different person and the result. So there, when we closely look at it, this is actually another manipulated content or an AI generated post, which also has the same post or location but different person. So with that, we can now conclude that this post is actually a false or a manipulated AI content. So let's be aware of that. Lastly, for our last type of information disorder, we have here malinformation. Malinformation is different from both of our type of information disorder that we discussed. Malinformation is true information that is shared or framed in a way that causes harm or distorts meaning. So, malinformation, in simple words, is true and real information that is shared to cause harm. So, let us now look at the example of a malinformation. Here we have a post once again with quotes of Secretary Criselda stating that nag-aaral ako ng mabuti para hindi maging minimum wage earner. This post has been spread in the internet, especially during December, because there have been a misunderstanding of it. But let us first look into if this is actually a false information. We can see, or from this certain post, this is actually a misleading content. Now, when we say misleading content, is a content that leads you to the opposite way, supposedly for you to have a different conclusion or different opinion on that certain content. So, to verify if this is actually a misleading content or a malinformation, we once again used our reverse search image in Google, and from this certain post, there are tons of posts similar to this, but this was also verified by the Philippines News Agency. So this talks about the quote that was spreading, and they informed that this is actually a false quote that did not really false quote that Secretary Criselda have said, because here from a video that I will show you, this was during
bas na lang ka kung maupod ka, Boss Fritz, makatulog pa ka. Wala ka pa di ba niyapon ka panghimos?
Wait lang kayo ka-play ang video.
Alas 12 na, Fritz, wala na taabtan dito. Uy, malit pa tapila ka minuto, wala na gid.
Wait na.
Grabe pod ka makahasol, Fritz, uy.
Okay, so as you can see from that video, that she did not directly said that she studies for her to not be a minimum wage earner. So she did not discriminate or state those quotes, which was then fact-checked by the National Wages and Productivity Commissions, mainly stating that the actual quote that Secretary Criselda have said is that she actually worked hard, and before she was poor, but then she worked hard for her to be competitive and for her to be in that position, but she did not discriminate. So with that, we can conclude that this is a false information. Alright, so now that we've seen examples of the types of information disorder, let us now differentiate, or let us try to these types of information. The left side, the falseness, and the right side, the harmful. So looking through this, we can see that misinformation is false, but without the intent to harm. The center one, which is disinformation, is false and has the intent to harm. And on the right side is malinformation, that is harmful and real information. In simple words, we can have this reminder for us that misinformation misleads, disinformation deceives, and malinformation harms. So knowing all of these types of information, before sharing anything, we must pause and verify, and check reliable sources, avoid reacting based on headlines alone, and think about the impact of what we share. So with all of those, we have to think, check, and so with that, we should always remember to think, check, and share responsibly. That is it for this report, and hopefully that we can be a great digital citizen, especially in our modern and digital world. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.